Welcome back. We've talked Browns, and now we have to kick it over to the Cavs because they have first-round pick again this year. They obviously lost the last couple of years with the Donovan Mitchell trade, but they picked 20th overall based on their the way they finished the regular season and in the playoffs. Guys, do you have any hope that they can, at number 20, find an impactful player in the draft?
Well, listen, I think the Cavs are an organization that brings people along very slowly anyway. And this draft is not going to be a top-end draft with a lot of talent. So given the fact that, you see what the talent is, plus the Cavs don't really, they'll play in the summer league, but they're very apprehensive unless things change with the new coach. I don't think they're going to find a person, especially given how good the roster is, that's going to make a big impact.
Jay, you see the list of guys who have been drafted 20th overall the last 5 years?
Yeah, it's not a lot of standouts there.
Yeah, there's a couple of good players on that list, but by all accounts, I'm no expert on the NBA draft. I don't pretend to be, but the experts on the NBA draft say this might be the worst draft ever.
Yeah, in terms of talent.
In fact, Mike heard somebody say, a guy who does this for a scout or does this for a living, said, when you picture this draft, imagine taking the top 10 picks off the board from
Ryan
a normal
Russillo
draft.
said that, right?
Ryan Russillo said that, yes. And he said NBA scout / GM told him
that you take the top 10 picks out, and that's what you have.
Essentially, the first pick in this draft is a guy who would normally be the 11th pick in the draft. That's not a good sign if you're picking 20th.
Typically in the draft, there's surprises. There's guys that are taken later that are better than what the draft thought they would be. And there's also guys that don't live up to what they thought they would be. But in general, and Mike, you can help me on this. In general, I think the NBA draft the experts that judge it as a collective have been pretty good.
Absolutely.
We were told, obviously, the LeBron Carmelo draft, everybody knew Chris Bosh, everybody knew that was going to be a landmark draft. So I think in the macro, the experts are always dead on. And the consensus from the experts is awful draft. Not below average draft, awful draft.
They said the Okoro draft, right, was going to be bad.
Yes, right.
They said the year Anthony Bennett was drafted that it wasn't a
particularly good
draft.
They knew that was a bad one.
And they were right.
And they were
overall.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So based on that, and also based on this, where's the spot? How is whoever comes into this team with the 20th pick, where is he going to impact this roster? So based on the roster construction and the fact that it's supposed to be an all-time colossal draft, bad, Mike, am I wrong? Do you see anybody coming out of that 20 slot that will change lives?
Change lives, maybe not, but could be an impact player. I do think it's possible. And this is just a bad draft this year. Teams have known this has been a bad draft for 2 or 3 years and have purposely traded picks out of this draft.
I know they have.
Because I don't want to. But if you look at the prospects, these are just guys that have fallen into the area where the Cavs are picking in positions of need. It is a pretty heavy wing draft, which does fit the Cavs' needs. However, none of these wings have like elite top-tier upside. No. But some of these guys could come in. Tristan DeSilva is a guy I like out of Colorado. He's 6'8", kind of a playmaker, who reminds me a little bit of Brandon Ingram, who we've talked about earlier on the YouTube show. You look at the last 5 years at the 20th overall pick, they found some good players, and that's in good drafts. The one good news about this being a bad draft is there's no consensus. You could look at 10 different draft boards, and they could have 30 different players in 30 different spots.
You know what I'm going to do? You missed somebody, man. I'm taking Caitlin Clark. Let me get her at 20.
No, I think we all missed somebody. The true answer to this question is which player could make an impact on this Cavs roster is Bronny. I don't have the answer to this, though. Is he going to be around at 20? Or is he even going to be drafted? I read through some scouting reports of the pre-draft combine, and they speak of him like he's trash, like he's garbage. He's got no skill set. First of all, it didn't help him that they've lied up 3 inches on his height for his entire career. When he measured at 6'1", scouts were looking at each other going, wait a minute, where's the real Bronny, and who is this? That wasn't great. And then they said he's not a good shooter. He's not an he's not an average defender. I think he was below average in every single category.
I'm drafting
So
him.
draft Bronny at 20 in hopes that you reel in Pops, and then you've got a meaningful draft pick at number 20.
He said he was only going to work out for the Lakers and the Suns, by the way.
We don't care about that.
Man, you got to drop the entitled attitude. You really do. He should be, based on the scouting reports, he's going to be lucky if he gets to wear an NBA jersey.
Well, he will because his last name is James, but that's it.
Yeah, but, okay, so is that sustainable?
No.
If he comes up and he's exposed, then he's not going to stick around. So we'll find out.